I'm the publishing manager in name of Page Letters that runs the imprint Ethos Books. I say in name because in fact, I'm the cleaning lady, the lady who stocks up the toilet rolls, etc., etc. Because happily, the publisher happens to be my husband. And those of you who have husbands will know when you are a wife, you are everything. So today I'm MC, I'm a celebrant with Liana, and a fellow journey person with all of you in this fascinating story of how BLEAGH came about. As more guests are coming on this nice Saturday morning, we'll take the proceedings slowly and perhaps even pause for tea before we continue with the Q&A and the autographing. So we'll start by having the publisher, Fong Ho Fang, to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you everybody for spending your Saturday afternoon, precious Saturday afternoon, morning, well it's almost noon, yeah, okay, morning here with us. I want to thank you for that. Yeah. I also want to thank the Arts House for giving us this place, this plush place to enjoy ourselves and to have the launch. Yeah. Today I want to share something with you, and that is why we decided to go with this book, BLEAGH. Okay. Parents today are always faced with a lot of choices. When you, of course, apart from the fact that you want to look at that my child must score the highest, you must go to the best schools and so on. There's also the very negative question at the back. What will my child become? What are the values that he will imbibe? How is he going to face the world? Right? And I want to say that when I read Liana's book, the values that she was trying to impart through the book, through the little story, the story that she wrote, came across very clearly. You know, the attributes of empathy, appreciation, tolerance, appreciation, I'm repeating myself. Yeah, well, the values that I think that she has also been teaching in the IB course in school. And the way she put it across in the story comes across so clearly, not just to the parents, but I believe that the children will also appreciate it when they look at it and learn from it in a way not from a top-down approach, but from the bottom-up approach of how a little monster could have these attributes and share them, right? So I will not go into the thing a bit too much, but I will let Liana go into it, and after that, maybe Dharma wants to say something first. Yeah, Dharma? Yeah.
Hi everyone. Thank you for joining Liana and I today for the launch of her children's picture book, BLEAGH, Book About Values. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dharma, Liana's husband. Fong and Wai kindly invited me to say a few words today, so I will keep this short and give you a quick background of the book. The idea for BLEAGH came up around mid-2011. Liana was a full-time teacher, reform teacher, to a class of 7- and 8-year-olds. She was trying to teach her students about good values and was looking for children's books that presented discussions on values in a manner that was accessible to her students. Unfortunately for her, and fortunately for all of us, she wasn't able to find such a book. And in that moment, BLEAGH was born. BLEAGH, at its core, is a book about values that are taught and practiced in the context of diversity through the protagonist, BLEAGH, who embodies what it means to be different. C.S. Lewis once said, "No book is really worth reading at the age of 10, which is not equally, and often far more, worth reading at the age of 50 and beyond." I think BLEAGH is absolutely one of those books. Its impact extends well beyond children. As adults, our actions tend to have a far greater impact on the lives and well-being of others than the actions of children. This book both teaches the next generation and reminds the current one of the importance of understanding and practicing good values in a globalized Europe. Now, I could tell you about how hard Liana worked at the BLEAGH manuscript, with countless drafts and revisions. I can tell you how many late nights she spent working with Pebble, her illustrator, to get Leslie just right. I could even tell you about how she became an expert on typography when the time came to choose fonts for the book. But instead of discussing Leanna's perfectionism, her sheer focus, her unwavering belief in the importance of educating the next generation to be good as well as smart, I'd like to tell you what BLEAGH, a furry little monster from a children's picture book, means to me. And as a tribute to Leanna's book, I will explain it in the form of a sonnet. A little monster's first time going to school. His name is BLEAGH, and he is blue and furry. But what if the others think that he's uncool? I'll have no friends, thinks BLEAGH, as he starts to worry. And sure enough, he's off to a rocky start. He's so different in how he looks and what he eats. Important values his teacher does impart. Through practice, BLEAGH makes friends with those he meets. We often feel sharply the offenses we're made to grow. Sometimes the burden of others seems like the test of us. That's why, as adults, we can learn from his children's book. Because BLEAGH and his friends represent the best of us. In kindness and in patience, we find beauty. And in diversity, strength and beauty. Thank you.
Thank you, Dharma. You know, when we had to do this book, of course, as publishers, we do it law by law. We have contract signing. And dear Dharma is the perfect lawyer for helping us make such a hole-proof, waterproof, whatever proof contract. I'm sure Leona will become a millionaire in no time. Our little young friends. Hello, good morning, children. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being so patient when the adults talk, talk, talk. You do not know what they're talking about, right? But I hope you will enjoy the book later on when you hear Leona reading from it and sharing some of her thoughts. Thank you.
Hi everyone. It's wonderful to have you all here today. Thank you so much for coming. I'd like to start my speech with a quote by Madeline L'Engle. She's the author of a modern classic, A Wrinkle in Time. She said, "Stories make us more alive, more human, more courageous, more loving." I love this quote by Madeline L'Engle, and it speaks to me about the power and the influence that books can have. While I was teaching, there would typically be friendship problems and difficulties faced by my students every day. My students would often come to tell me about a friend who had said something mean, or arguments which were happening in the playground, and I'm glad they trusted me enough to do this. Sometimes I would speak with a child individually, sometimes we would sit as a group, or I'd ask the entire class to form a circle so that we could discuss what happened. If an incident occurred while I was teaching, I would sometimes even stop the lesson so that I could tune into what they were saying, allow other students to present their views, and offer support or advice. To me then, educating a child is much more than building numeracy or literacy skills. It really means helping to shape caring and responsible global citizens, and I hope I model this in my classroom with some measure of success. Values education is also something we've been hearing and reading about a lot in the news recently. Our Minister for Education, Mr. Heng Swee Keat, said in a speech in 2011 that values and character development must form the core of Singapore's education system. He went on to say that personal values enable people to have the confidence and self-awareness and the grit and the determination to succeed. We need values to be socially responsible people in our multiracial, multicultural society, to appreciate and celebrate our diversity so that we stay cohesive and harmonious. Beyond Singapore, and on a more global scale, I think this has great relevance as well. So how do we instill values and character development in children? I just read a review of BLEAGH a few days ago, and the writer Visakan Virasamy asked the same question, with a simple conclusion being, why not start with children's books? Visa said, BLEAGH manages to achieve something we find remarkable. It's both realistic and idealistic. It presents circumstances that are believable and all too familiar, and reveals to the reader how they might be dealt with in a positive and enriching way. I remember reading To Kill a Mockingbird in secondary school, and to this day I can still recall the words of Atticus Finch. He said, "You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb inside of his skin and walk around in it." And so from this, I learned to practice empathy in my dealings with others. My hope is that BLEAGH, a book about values, will help young children, younger than I was, understand values such as empathy and integrity, which can often come across as very abstract concepts. Through the experiences of BLEAGH the Monster, I have done my best to present these values in a context that students can easily relate to and hopefully remember. Finally, there are many organizations and people I need to thank for making BLEAGH and the entire BLEAGH series possible. My lovely publishers, Waihan and Fong, the Media Development Authority of Singapore, the book's illustrator, Pebble, my parents, Bernard and Bernard, for their enthusiasm, their support, and their confidence in me, and most of all, my husband, Dao. Without Dao's support and constant encouragement, this book would never have come to pass. He is my copy editor, my advisor, my greatest supporter, my lawyer, and a true inspiration. I would also like to thank all of you who took the time to come today for the launch. I am deeply touched and very grateful for your presence. If I could ask one more thing of you as well, other than to maybe purchase copies of the book, it would be to please blog, tweet, Instagram, post about the book, and help us spread the word. As a parting gift, stickers are also available outside, as well as envelopes that my dad very creatively decided to make for the book. And Darbo will be going around later as well, asking people to make their BLEAGH faces. If you don't know what a BLEAGH face is, you can turn to page 5 of the book and make a face, and Darbo would like to capture it and put it on our Facebook page if that's okay. So thank you again. Thank you very much for being here.